Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ellen Gormley, and today we're working on the Tumbling Motifs scarf from my book, One Skein Crochet. Check out the description below because I might have a couple of kits available on Amazon using the exact yarn used in the project. The project uses Monostel Uruguay silk blend, and it's just one skein. And here is the exact project from the book. So it's ascot length. It's 25 inches long, and it makes these motifs where you start one motif and then you start the next one and work off of the first, and it continues. So the concept, of course, in the One Skein book is to use up a whole skein of yarn and just to keep going until you run out. So if you don't have this exact yarn, it's okay. You can use whatever yarn you have, and when you run out of yarn, you're done. I did use, I had some leftover. This is Scarlet Fleece Painted Merino, and I've had this for a few years, just looking for the right project for it. I don't even know if they're still in business, but I just love, love, love this color. So while I was swatching up, preparing for this video, here's what it looks like in another colorway, okay? If you use a bigger yarn, you're gonna need a bigger hook, but for this project we use an H hook for this yarn, but I'm going to use a plain solid yarn to demonstrate this scarf. So I am using a worsted weight yarn. This is Brava by Knit Picks worsted weight yarn in the color Tranquil, and we are going to follow the pattern and learn this Tumbling Motifs scarf, okay? So what we're gonna do is take a yarn and the matching hook. So I'm using worsted weight and an I hook, but for the recommended yarn, it's an H. Got it? We're going to put a slip knot on our hook. I hope you're liking this One Skein Crochet series that helps you with some of the trickier parts of all the projects in the One Skein book. And also check out the other videos from this book. Like I just made this greenery hat in brown. Love that pattern. I've made it so many times. Oh, I forgot. There's so much to show you. While I was playing with this pattern, I also went ahead and changed color each row so that you would be able to see easier when we're changing rows. So we're starting here. I've marked with a locking stitch marker the right side of the first motif so that I always knew which one was the first motif. But you're going to continue working. If you're working just one yarn, there won't be all these tails. All right, so we are chaining 5 and joining with a slip stitch in the 5th chain from the hook. Okay, we're chaining 1, 2, 3, 4 because it counts as the first double crochet plus a chain 1 space. And now we will double crochet and chain 1 so that we have a total of how many? 12? I can look at the diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will have a total of 8 double crochets, including the chain 3 beginning chain that counts as the first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. We should have 8. We should end with a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that completes this green middle. Okay, now we're going to continue with the solid color yarn. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now the pattern suggests that you place a marker for the right side of the pattern so that you don't get confused, but I don't know that it really matters that much. We're going to single crochet in the first double crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick with me and you'll see we're going to single crochet in the next double crochet, skipping the chain 1 space. Stick with me because I think you'll find it really interesting how the second motif bumps onto the first one without cutting. So we're single crocheting in each double crochet, we're chaining 5, we're skipping the chain 1 space, and single crocheting in the next. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. And I'm now working on the gray section of this motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the interesting thing about this is it is a motif, but it is in turned rows and they are worked I wouldn't even call it join as you go. It's just continuous. It's continuous motifs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you've never worked a continuous motif project before, I think you'll find this really fun and interesting and a great way to use up yarn. Okay, so we now have row 2. They are rows because we're turning and we're not going all the way around the circle. We have row 2 now done. So we now have the light gray section done. We're going to work on the blue. So for row 3, we're going to make one big kind of loose chain because it doesn't really count as a stitch. We're turning the motif, and in the chain 5 space, and in each of this chain 5 spaces, we're going to place a V-stitch, which in this case, checking our special stitches, is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in each of the chain 5 stitches. Chain 5 loops, separated by just one chain, and then another V-stitch in the next chain 5 loop. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, separated by just one chain. We are now working on the blue row 3 of this motif, and I think you're really going to love how this works. Once you get the hang of it, you can just keep right on building like building blocks right on top of one another, and this motif is the foundation, but all of the rest of them are the same except for how they anchor to the previous motif. Okay, you're always anchoring to the motif that was just made. So it's really a very continuous process, and once you learn the first 2 motifs, then you really got it. You got it. You got it going on. Very easy to memorize. So this last chain 5 space, we are doing one more V-stitch, which is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and ending there. Okay, so now we have completed the blue, and we're going to work on the green. So the next row is to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and turn, and we will double crochet, chain 2 in each double crochet of each V across. So this first one is chain 3 plus 2 more for the chain 2. So it's a double crochet plus a chain 2, which is why we chained 5. So now we will chain 2 and double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the next double crochet, etc., all the way around. And I believe there will be 14 of these for this motif. So the bigger the yarn, the bigger the motif, the bigger hook you need. The smaller the yarn, the smaller the hook you'll need, and the smaller the motif will be. The bigger the hank of yarn or ball of yarn, the longer the scarf you can make. The less yardage per hank or per ball, the smaller the scarf. If you wish to use more than one ball of yarn, you absolutely can to make a longer scarf. I was trying to maximize this relatively small skein. This is only 155 yards. Maximize this tiny skein of yarn into something really beautiful and usable using just one skein. And so that's the whole premise of the One Skein book. The book by itself is available on my website in the United States at ellengormley.com, and I can sign it for you. Internationally, it's available on Amazon. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right on target. We just finished the green row. Now we're going to turn and do the gray, the light gray row. Here's what we have so far. And it should look just like the diagram, and it does. So we are right on target. So I'm kitting up some of the projects from these books. They're a limited edition based on the yarn that I have left. We're going to chain 1 and turn, single crochet in the first double crochet. Then in the chain 2 space, we're going to place single, 1, 2, 3 chains, single, single in the next double, and we'll continue this all the way around. So in the chain 2 space, we are single, 1, 2, 3, single. So some limited edition kits are available on Amazon, and if they are not there, it's because they're sold out. and there will not be any more. So then we might, you can check other of the projects. There's going to be several of the projects from the book kitted up into signed copies for people in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Beyond that, I wish I could kit up more for you, but I am limited. But hey, stay tuned to the channel because I am going to expand the book and kit series things soon. So the limited edition kits include the exact yarn or the exact yarn in another color, and you'll see the options. So we're continuing to single crochet in each double crochet and single crochet 1, 2, 3 and single crochet in the chain 2 space. Okay, here's where we are. So much fun. Really enjoyed the beautiful scalloped edge of this pattern. So after this row, we get to do 1, 2, 3, almost an edging row that you can really apply to so many projects. So the final row of the motif before you move on to the next one is an edging, almost like an edging scallop. But right now we're working on the gray, but the blue is almost like the final row of that motif is almost like an edging unto itself. So there is no need to place an edging on the motif because it's already built in. So in this final chain 3 plus 2, chain 5, which is a double crochet plus 2, we're going to make sure and finish that out. Don't leave it hanging with a single crochet, chain 2, 3, single crochet in the chain 2 space. Then remember there is a chain 3 which counts as a double crochet, so we will go ahead and single crochet there as well. Okay, so don't leave it hanging. Make sure you finish it off symmetrically like you did before. Okay, so now we have just done the gray row and it's time to do the blue. So the blue is to chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and turn. And we are going to work into, you know what, I don't remember, is that how we do it? Or are we going to go ahead and slip stitch? The diagram says to slip stitch. So we are going to slip stitch. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So come back to the final row there. Now we are going to turn, slip stitch into the chain 3 space. So we're just advancing the yarn so that we can now chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which counts as the first treble crochet. Place 2 more treble crochets in that same chain 3 loop. Okay, here's where we are. Treble crochet the second time in the same chain 3 loop. And now we're going to picot. And for the special stitches of this particular pattern, I like to chain 1, 2, 3 and half double crochet in the third chain from the hook to create the picot. There it is. And now we will three treble crochets in the next chain 3 space, and we are skipping all the single crochets in between. So much fun. Stick with me because I think you're going to really love how these motifs connect to one another. I think it makes for a very relaxing and valuable use of our time to go ahead and do motifs that are continuous and there's no cutting. So you can imagine what it would look like in a cake yarn or a variegated yarn or a ombre yarn. And then, because this was a multicolored yarn there, but then also turning in rows, that's really striking too. But there's a lot of ends then to shut off or finish off or fasten off every row. So you might want to see how you like it in a solid yarn or in the suggested yarn. But I think it's going to be gorgeous in a solid color as well, don't you think? 1, 2, 3. Do you have a stash yarn, just one ball, that's at least 150 yards that you would like to try your hand at this continuous motif? And then if you have more than 150 yards, you can make your scarf even longer. So this, the one in the book that's 25 inches long is more of an ascot length scarf. But if you use a bigger ball of yarn and you have more yardage, you can make your scarf much longer. So we are still placing 3 treble crochets in each of the chain 3 spaces, skipping the single crochets in between, and putting a picot in between each of the groups. So here's where we are right now, which is the blue section here. So remember, the picot is chain 1, 2, 3, and half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, which makes that little nubby picot there, which I love so much. It's a great way to have an edging on your final row, or round row in this case, since we are turning and they're not going all the way around. The magic really happens when we then start the next motif off of the first. So it's cantilevered out like a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Cantilevered over the edge of the previous motif and joined to it every other row, and I will show you that gladly. 1, 2, 3, picot. Picot is spelled P-I-C-O-T. And it's not, well, sometimes it's abbreviated in a pattern. Often it is spelled out. So if you're learning how to read patterns, I pulled through too many. Let's go back. If you're learning how to read patterns, the word picot is different depending on what the designer wanted. So make sure you check your special stitches to see what the definition of picot is for that particular pattern. And then the word picot is usually spelled out P-I-C-O-T rather than abbreviated. So a picot is actually a little nubby group of stitches. And in the symbol diagram, it's indicated here with a chain 3 and a half double crochet is equal to the picot. Okay. So in this book, it has full symbol diagrams plus full written instructions for every pattern. And of course, I'm trying to do video tutorials for as many of the patterns in the book as I can so that you have more opportunities for support. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This one might be a little confusing to people when we get to this next section where we add on the little baby. It's almost like conjoined twins. It's going to grow off from the side though. It's not joining. They didn't grow equally at the same time. One is fully formed first in this case, and then we will add the next fully formed one, and then the next fully formed one after that. Okay, so when we finish with the 3 treble crochets in that last chain 3 space, we now have completed motif number 1. And this is with an Aran weight or worsted weight yarn. This motif is way bigger than this one. It's also a bigger hook. So the bigger the yarn, the bigger the hook, the bigger the motif will be. And so now, okay, here's the fun part. Here's the magic. So now that we have completed this motif and we are right here, we've just finished this group of 3 treble crochets. What we're going to do then is off the edge of this, chain 5 and start this section and go this way. And so when we start here and make a chain of 5 and work here, we'll slip stitch, work back, slip stitch, work back, slip stitch to the previously made motif. Okay, so hang in there. Okay, so here's where the magic happens. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to slip stitch in the 5th chain from the hook, just like we did the very first motif, kind of almost pretending that first motif doesn't even exist. It's just hanging there. We're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to twist it a little bit so that when we're done with the row, working this way, we will join over here. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, 7 times so that we have a total of 8 double crochets. Lay it out flat if you need to, just like I did. It's okay. 4, 5. So this is like a little bunion, a little beautiful bunion on the side of the motif, and it is going to continue to grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more double crochet. Okay, so we have the beginning of the next motif. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lay it flat so that we are ready to join. Now, if you're twisted and it's over here, then just twist it back until you can get it in the right spot. Now we're going to join right here at the bottom of the treble crochet grouping. Okay, it doesn't, just get the hook in there and slip stitch somewhere in the bottom of that group. Okay, now we will chain 1 and turn. Now we will continue with the motif as if this hanging off big one doesn't exist. Single crochet in the double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're chaining 5, double crochet or single crochet in the next double crochet. So you can see we're working the next motif just like we did on the first one with this little chain 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet in the double crochet. So it's the same exact thing. The difference is that every time we finish a row that's next to the straight edge portion of the motif, we're going to anchor it with a slip stitch and then continue working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything, but also so that I know you want more of this kind of interesting content. Vote with your thumbs up button, 3, 4, 5. And don't forget to single crochet in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4. Then you can lay it out and see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then match it on your diagram. 1, 2, actually we're on the 2nd motif here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you're ready to go. Okay, we're not joining here because this is the scalloped edge round part. So we're going to just turn and not do anything and then anchor when we get back to this section. So I hope that this helps you understand the glory of continuous motifs, and like and subscribe and hang in there and go check Amazon for kits of this pattern with sign books and hooks to go with. So that's all for today. I will see you on the next video.